Am I to answer your question or not?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I think let's just, I mean, it's all very well. We all are very upset and excited about it, but I think in all this we are missing the real fact that unfortunately, very unfortunately, call it by any name you want, racism, communalism, religious fundamentalism have all now become an absolute essence of every society in this world. And having become an essence because of other reasons, frustration, economic frustration, political frustration, whatever it may be. Now the fact is, and what we really should concentrate on, what a country does, what a nation does when it finds that such a problem is getting out of hand in its own country. The fact is that the average American is exceedingly ill-informed, believes that all people who look in a certain way must be of a certain persuasion, all owing their origin to Mr. Osama bin Laden. Unfortunately, this is a fact. My question is, what is the country doing to try to dissuade this impression of its people?
Nothing.
What is the country doing?
Nothing.
It's one thing to
nothing.
say,
Absolutely
I'll be the
nothing.
last one to say that America is racist. But are some Americans racist?
True.
Definitely yes.
You see,
but the question is, what is America doing to dispel or to see
doing
that
a lot.
such racist
doing nothing.
America's doing a lot.
are kept to a minimal in their country?
Doing
what
nothing.
are they doing to educate their people?
Two counters coming from Sohail and Ravi Batra. Let's go to Ravi Batra, then I'm coming to Sohail. This whole argument, Ravi Batra, that there are a lot of ignorant or crazy people in every country who don't know the difference between Sikhs and Muslims. I don't deny.
Let me just say this.
Watch it.
Oak Creek.
Ignorance does not justify criminal behavior, Ravi Batra. Ignorance does not justify criminal behavior.
Agreed. But as Ambassador K.C. Singh was saying, what we should focus on the solution, and the solution is this. We need to remember Oak Creek, not only because there was a slaughter of people while worshiping, but because of a man called Lieutenant Brian Murphy, the hero of Oak Creek, who took 9 bullets. And when ambulances came and the folks came to help him, he says, no, take care of the worshipers. So that's America, okay? So a man who came to help, took bullets.
You're giving an emotional argument to an objective question.
Medical attention.
Emotional argument to an objective question.
Take care of the people in the temple.
No.
Okay. No. So this is an issue. Excuse me. This is an issue simply of education.
I love Ravi Batra. For his constitutional stand towards the stars and the stripes. I love the fact that he stood in line for his green card and got it. But what I despise is what Ravi, my good friend, has ignored.
What?
The reality, Arnab, that you talked about. America, by and large, is a country of dolts. That's why they're successful. They don't question the status quo.
Not true.
In India, if you tell a guy, stand in a line, Ravi, hear me out. Ravi, I heard you out like a gentleman.
Sure.
You must behave like George Bush and hear me out. Okay? So here's my response. And as Casey rightly said, there is a problem. The problem is of stereotyping. The problem is of thinking of the world in 2 colors, black and white. There's a lot of gray. The reality is, if America wants itself to be the great power of democracy, freedom, and this great thinking ideal, where on earth are they? I mean, as Arnab said, why do you stereotype? Why we had so many hate crimes? Why we had stereotyping after 9/11? Why did we have the legacy of Martin Luther King destroyed until it was remembered 2 months ago in America? The reality is America hasn't grown out of that problem. Is India at fault? Casey is right.
No.
We treat everyone from the Northeast as chinks. It is our flaw. It's our fault. But two wrongs don't make a right.
No, they don't. But
so, Ravi, give up your Americanship and talk humanely for once.
Listen. After Oak Creek,
even if you're a lawyer,
I organized a City Hall steps rally in support of American Sikhs. I had members of Congress who came. I had senators who came, assembly people who came, city officials who came.
Doesn't help, Ravi Batra. Doesn't help.
And the last thing
doesn't
we did,
help.
And why the hell do you have that accent?
No, 1 second.
No, it doesn't help.
You're from Amritsar. You're a Punjabi like us.
On the steps of City Hall.
No, 1 second. All the good you are doing doesn't help. No, today it doesn't help. I'll tell you why.
You know,
because earlier this month,
the battle between good and evil is perpetual.
No, 1 second. Because earlier this month, there was a study conducted by Stanford University, which revealed that more than 2/3 of Americans cannot identify Sikhs by their turbans. And you know what, Chidanand Rajgata? Nearly half of the Americans in that particular survey said that Sikhism is a sect of Islam.
Yeah, how many Indians, on visual evidence can distinguish between Americans and Britons, or Britons and Danes? I mean, I think that's a spurious argument. Look, the important thing to remember is both in the United States and in India, you have a mechanism for redressal. You have a justice system. Discrimination is not codified and constitutionalized in these countries. Anyone who thinks the United States and India officially sanctions discrimination ought to go and live in a country where you could be killed for not knowing the wife or name of the Prophet's wife. The fact is these two countries are not perfect. There are a lot of imperfections, and the reason there is so much racism and discrimination is they get reported. In many parts of the world it doesn't even get reported. If you're of particular religion, you won't even get into a seat of power. Okay, India and the United States are two of the finest countries on earth. They are not perfect, but they afford a certain, grievance redressal mechanism.
I am not.
And the reason why so many Sikh crimes are being reported is because of greater activism, greater monitoring, and in fact greater redressal.
When there is
People
one community,
get prosecuted in this country for hate crimes. That doesn't happen in many parts of the world.
No, my only problem with that argument is when there is one community which has repeatedly, always been attacked.
No, there are many communities.
I know of the text.
As of today, I'm sure the Somalis will get it in the neck because of the incident in Nairobi.
Then what kind of a country is America?
All around.
What do you mean by saying
but to think that this is a sort of national trait and it happens all the time here is the same as saying in India is full of rapes and full of communal riots. Not true.
Not true
on a scale.
Then I don't want America.
Can you ask yourself a question?
Yes.
Will Manmohan Singh object to the US government about the misdemeanor and the behavior meted out to Sikhs? Ask yourself this pointed question and ask the panel that question, and my answer is no.
We
as a government are willing to crawl when we are asked to walk.
Aryaman Sundaram, my only limited point is that from 2001 to 2013, every year, again and again, Sikhs are targeted, killed, murdered, attacked, their properties vandalized. And I don't know, if I'm just saying, if today Israeli immigrants into America were to be attacked like this, repeatedly, with open racism, then would the question not which...
This goes back to what I...
Yes, Aryaman gets the question. Aryaman.
3,000 Sikhs who were killed in New Delhi?
Can I just finish what
anyone wants to answer this question? How have we handled the murder of 3,000 Sikhs in New Delhi? You want to talk about hate crimes?
Yes.
You can each shout each other down, but you want people...
Aryaman Sundaram's turn, gentlemen.
May I just answer?
Can I say something, Arnab?
The point is, this goes all the way back to what I started with. I started with the statement that, unfortunately, this kind of, whether you call it fundamentalism or you call it communalism, call it racism, goes essentially in almost every country, and it does happen. However, the issue is exactly what you said. When there is one particular community, maybe due to ignorance, maybe due to misinformation, whatever it may be, if there's one particular country, community being targeted in a country, I think it's time for the country, for the government to wake up and say, look, it's important that we do a large-scale education to prevent this from happening.
I second.
And that, unfortunately, is not being done. It's much easier to brush it under the carpet.
I don't know why this question should be asked. In fact, I think KC Singh, common sense is that Manmohan Singh should raise it. Manmohan Singh, nobody should have to ask Manmohan Singh to raise it. Manmohan Singh should raise it.
He won't.
No, how do you know he won't?
He will not.
How do you know he won't, Sohail?
I will tell you, he wants to be more popular than Churchill's wife.
1 second. No, let's hear. Why wouldn't he? I mean, it's a natural expectation. KC Singh.
No, I don't know. We can't prejudge what he will or will not raise. What we can say is what he should do. Now, whether he raises it or he asks his officers to raise it at a particular level, certainly 3-4 things need to be done. One is that sensitizing Americans about this problem. Second is quick inquiry into it and apprehension of the culprits and meting out justice. This has been done in England. They have moved very rapidly against a hate crime, and therefore anywhere that this happens, the police must be proactive, and this is for the US government to do, and this is something which they must do.
Arnab.
And the third one is, he must meet the community leaders there and also tell them that they must integrate more with the local community, undertake actions, run charitable institutions, be more integrated.
I think the Sikh community has contributed greatly to the United States of America. And it is not for fault of the Sikh community not integrating that they are being assaulted. Everybody from taxi drivers to businessmen. And I remember there was the Sikh man.
To believe that a community has to...
The only person who can help you is Sant Chatwal.
To avoid being discriminated against.
Well, I think the onus is now on the Americans. We're going to follow this story. Ravi Batra, the onus is on you.
Well, here's my answer.
Ravi Batra, stop defending the Americans.
One second.
And start defending the Indians for a change.
1 second. Michelle Obama went to Oak Creek, okay? President Obama had Manmohan Singh as the first state visitor of his presidency, of his historic presidency to the United States. I and my wife were there. We saw the body language between President Obama and Prime Minister Singh. The kind of respect given to an Indian Sikh in the White House needs to be celebrated, and not America can't get beat up.
Ravi, you're a lawyer. Ravi Batra, you're a lawyer. You know the difference between realism and tokenism.
We can't be judged by that.
Well, I think the attacks against the Sikhs have been going on for far too long. Gentlemen, I'm not here to pass some kind of a generalization on America being racist. But if Americans think, if Americans think, and any American thinks that they can turn the
Ravi, give up your American citizenship and come back to Punjab.
If they think they can point the finger back and say you're racist, you're casteist, you're sexist, that is no justification for what has happened today to that Columbia University professor.
Listen,
thank you very much. Gentlemen, Ravi Batra, it's good to have you back. I look forward to our next debate.